Dear friends, I want to wish you a Shabbat Shalom. And on this Shabbat, we will be blessing the special month of Nisan, the month of miracles, which we are in hope and prayer that God will show clear miracles for the Jewish people, both in Israel, with the hostages coming home safely, the war being won very decisively, and the Jewish people and all others who live in that region being able to live peacefully without having to worry about others trying to kill them. And also miracles for all of us in the world, for everything that we need. And on this Shabbat, we actually read two Torahs, the regular portion, Shemini, and also HaChodesh, talking about the first mitzvah God gave to the Jewish people. I just want to talk about one point in this week's Torah portion of Shemini, which includes in it the laws of kosher. And twice in the Torah are we told about kosher in terms of animals, birds, fish, and other creatures that are kosher. Milk and meat is mentioned elsewhere, but all the types of living beings that we are allowed to partake of or not allowed to partake of. Now, the Torah tells us that when Moshe spoke to the Jewish people, he said, Zos, this is the animals that you may eat. And the rabbis explain, what does it mean, this is? He's giving them laws. What do you mean, this is? But actually, we're told that there was a miracle, that Moshe had an actual animal that he showed them, this you're allowed to eat, and this you're not allowed to eat. This bird you're allowed to eat, this you're not allowed to eat. This fish, everything Moshe was showing them in a very visual, real way of what they're allowed to partake of, what they're not allowed to partake of. But the whole teaching of kosher at this point is almost superfluous. The Jewish people in the desert lived off of the manna that God gave from heaven. And yes, there were birds that also came from heaven that the Jews ate off of. They weren't procuring their food from anywhere else. So why all the lengthy explanation to a nation that many of them would die in the desert about kosher? So from here we see that the message of kosher is, yes, about the food that we're allowed to eat or not allowed to eat, but it's about our relationship with food, because there's nothing more in life that we as people are reliant on than food. We need it. We can't survive without it. And most of us are eating food at least 3 times a day, if not more, throughout the day. Our interaction with food is more than that with anything else. Maybe sleep a longer period of time. And the Torah is telling us why. Why did God give us a special diet? We don't know. It's a chok. It's a statute that we have no idea why God gave us this statute, this law. There's no real reason. But there's a very strong message. And that is that everything we interact with, even something that's for survival, and why pay attention to the food itself? It's more what we do as a person, how we behave. What about the food? But everything we interact with, we have to be mindful of what it is. What does it do for me? Why am I interacting with this? What does it give to me? Where does it come from? And in Hasidic teachings it explains that the reason God designed the world that we need to interact with food so much, and through interacting with food we're touching upon every part of creation, the inanimate, the vegetative, the animal kingdom, the birds, the fish, because our interaction with the food is helping bring the entire world and elevating the entire world together closer to its purpose and its mission and its unity. Because everything in this world was made for God. And everything in this world works together to be able to bring out the glorification of God and for us to connect to the truth, to eternity. And what more than with food that we interact with all the time? So Hashem made our bodies that we need to constantly drink and eat, and because through this we are touching upon every part of creation. We're not human beings that just live apart and separate, but we have to involve ourselves in every part of God's creation, and then be mindful that we are the partners who bring it to the last mile, do it the right thing with it, and bring it all together in a great unity for God. So let's think before we eat. What are we eating? Kosher. Check the packaging. Imagine when you go shopping, you're already paying attention. And it's not new. People pay attention today to all types of ingredients. Pay attention. Make sure it has a supervision. Then you bring it home. It has to be prepared properly. It can't be in the dairy, can't be in the meat. The meat can't be with the dairy. And then when you finally sit down to eat, you make a bracha, a blessing. It's a whole different experience. It's elevating. It's inspiring. The food doesn't take us over. We control the food and its purpose. So I encourage, take one step more in kosher and paying attention, being mindful. It will be life-changing. God bless you all. Wish you a Shabbat Shalom. We love you all.